Good time of day, guys, and Happy New Year. My New Year's resolution is to stop being lazy, and stop being stupid. Welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.8 Matsuribayashi. Last episode was like 2 weeks ago, but, oh boy, which episode was the last one? I can't remember. Last episode, okay, it was just that one. Kasai, Shion, Irie, and Akasaka went to save Tomitake from the mountain dogs. And the more I think about what happened last episode, the more I think it was fucking stupid. Like, sure, Kasai got a cool moment. Not complaining about that. Irie got a moment, but it was stupid. I mean, lying about a disease, sure, but, like, it could have been cooler. It could have been way cooler. Like, if after he stabbed that dude with the pen, he was just like, yup, it's a fake, syringe. Ha ha ha, there is Hinamizawa syndrome in here, you're gonna die. Instead of turning it into, like, alright, but I'll only give you the antidote if you pull down your pants and pretend to be a maid. Like, that, no. But the thing that was most weird, thinking about last episode, was there's a camera out at the fucking clinic. They're clearly checking the cameras. Why is no one stationed in the blind spot of the camera? That's just kind of weird, but that's neither here nor there. I'd imagine we're very, very, very close to the end of this chapter. I don't know exactly how close, but considering Takano's lost her hat somewhere, I'd imagine we're near the end. So let's read. Takano didn't have enough stamina to walk around in the mountains. She was running out of breath, but even so, she continued to scream at the mountain dogs on the radio. She wasn't using an intercom like the mountain dogs were. Instead, she was using the communication unit on the back of one of the dogs, so he constantly had to listen to her yelling. Damn! Everyone is so useless! How can they call themselves a special unit? Whatever happened to the famous mountain dogs, huh? Takano bit her lower lip and squeezed her left arm with her nails. Her arms had nail marks all over them, apparently through her coat sleeves. She was holding her grandfather's research scrapbook in her left hand. Even Takano didn't know why she was holding it. Maybe she grabbed it unconsciously because she wanted her grandfather to comfort her. The mountain dogs had already suffered devastating damage. They had to walk around in an area they weren't familiar with. And they wasted their energy on the multitude of traps that had been set. Although they were as tough as can be, they were getting exhausted. Shit. Does the Major even know any commands other than attack? Nightingale 1 to Nightingale 13. Watch out! Your left wing is down! You're next! You've got to be kidding me! Why me? Damn it! He panicked. The same thing kept happening. His team members had been going down one at a time, starting from the left flank. And he was next! Did that mean the enemy was coming from his 9 o'clock? No, those demons didn't think normally. On this mountain, being aware of 360 degrees around yourself wasn't enough. Even being cautious of the ground below your feet and sky above your head wasn't enough. You had to be aware of fucking hyperspace and the 4th dimension. Totally. Because these teenagers are very smart. Where are they fucking coming from? That's an odd place to drop an F-bomb when you don't often do that. Those bastards. Come here, come the fuck at me! And a second one. Nightingale 13 held his taser in front of him as he looked around timidly. This taser could have been a powerful weapon, but it was far more effectively used indoors. On this mountain, it was almost worthless. Nightingale 13 heard a noise from behind him from a bush. He thought he saw something, so he fired his taser. The electrodes flew out into the bush. Did he just imagine it? He felt a tug on his taser. The cord from the taser was stuck in the bush, and he couldn't rewind it. If it wasn't useless before, it had certainly become that way. Then he heard a noise behind him again, and this time he saw someone coming at him. But his weapon was useless. The newcomer growled at him. Oh, Ow, 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 ow. What, you gonna hit him with a baseball bat? That would be Keiichi's job. Ugh! Damn you! That was all it took. Because he was so scared, he didn't think. That was exactly what Satoko expected. Satoko, who was up in the tree, dropped the metal bucket on his head. It landed perfectly. Ugh! What the heck? What is this? The bucket had some drawings on it. What were they? They were drawings of strange, unknown creatures. They somehow resembled those strange characters you see on educational TV programs. Okay.
Aren't they just so cute? Take it home with you!
As Rena jumped out from another bush, she hit the bucket with a stick. Okay. No, maybe it should be described as a strike, instead of a hit. The man flew backwards. Keiichi was ready for him. The stance he was in looked a bit like... That's it. He looked like a batter in a batter's box. He was on 1 foot. That was the legendary 1 foot swing, created by that one world-famous baseball player. Destructive force can't be measured from just one direction. It's a function of both speeds added together. Both Keiichi's strike and the speed of his opponent created a truly amazing destructive force. Whoa! A home run bunt! With an exhilarating and magnificent sound, the mountain dog flew into the air in the opposite direction. And then what does Rika do? Yeah, I knew she was coming. Then he rolled down on the ground and stopped. There, Rika awaited him. And then she just shoots him. Like, everyone's just doing this fucking, like, human Rube Goldberg machine, and Rika's like, good job, bang bang, dead. It was almost as though they calculated that he would end up there.
Poor thing, poor thing. Pat, pat, meet, meet.
You a car? Rika patted the bucket happily. This comforting moment for Nightingale 13 only lasted for a second. Mion shot her taser at his butt. Nightingale 13 jerked for a moment, then went limp. Another one down! Let's tie him up! Keiichi and Rena jumped on him and tied his hands behind his back with wire.
Oh, that was great! What a team we are! Oh, that was perfect! We shall do combination 7 next! Oh, I want to do 5 again. Oh, you liked that one, did you? You might have a hidden talent for using traps, Hanyu-san.
Hanyu and Satoko high-fived. While Keiichi and Rena tied Nightingale 13 up. Rika tried to sense something in the air.
Meep, meep, meep. Bing. I feel something coming towards us from that direction. Meep, meep, meep. There are 2, and they are both very scared. Meepa.
Rika reported to Mion. She was a bit like a radar. Yeah, I was gonna joke about that, but I feel like that was the point. Mion didn't even care about the guy they had just knocked out. She was already trying to figure out their next move while looking at Satoko's map and using the info Rika gave her. Everyone eagerly awaited Mion's next order. Why are you looking at me that way? You haven't had enough fun yet? Yeah. I guess we're just getting warmed up, huh? Shall we continue? Let's get them all! Yeah! Mion was a great leader. She had both leadership skills and tactical ability. But more than anything else, she was great at encouraging people's spirits. There are no cowardly soldiers under a brave general. And brave soldiers fight like a million men under Mion's command. Nobody could stop Mion and her club members. Both Mion and Okanogi's original estimates were too low. Now Okanogi was thinking something else. Before they started the siege, he likened one of them to a well-trained platoon. But that didn't fit anymore. They were on par with an elite armored division. Foot soldiers couldn't beat an armored division. What Okanogi had was just a company. Where was the air support? or a bombardment from a warship, or an artillery base. Okinogi needed someone to pump the mountain full of holes. If he couldn't have that, he needed a submarine to fire a nuclear weapon. If he couldn't have that, he wanted to retreat. Okinogi no longer doubted it. The enemy commander was a genius. Under a mighty commander, all soldiers become heroes. He wanted to see the face of the commander, or at least he wanted to know their name. But then, Okinogi remembered that demons used to live in Hinamizawa. He also realized the commander had to be a demon. Sure. Nightingale 13 is down! Phoenix 4 is down! This is Skylark 10! I can hear the voices of children! I'm surrounded! Help! Help me! Skylark 10, fall back! Fall back! To where? Ah! This is Phoenix 9. I found R. I'm following her. I need assistance! Phoenix 9, where are you? I don't know where you are! Give me your current location! There's a fog. It's cold. Is this a riverbank? Phoenix 9, there are no rivers anywhere near us! Calm down! Where are you? What? I can see my dead sister on the other side of the river. Sis! Phoenix 9! Phoenix 9! Answer me! Phoenix 9 is down! This is so dumb. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, this is impossible. They must be the demons of this mountain! I know. They're all being demoned away! None of us are making it out of here alive tonight!
Stop saying things like that! All unit leaders, conduct a roll call and give your members some encouragement. Our enemies aren't demons! They're just a bunch of damn kids! Show them what we've got!
I was actually told in the comments that my Okinogi voice is slowly becoming similar to my Satoko voice. I don't know how, but okay. That's not the intention, at least. I hear that. Whose intercom is it coming from? Not mine. It's not coming from mine. A bear! Ah! Okay. This is Phoenix 3. Are there wild bears here? That wasn't in the briefing. Phoenix 1, let's fall back. Give us approval to use firearms.
Don't be stupid! There are no wild bears around here! It's just them! Don't let them fool you! You foolish humans. Know your sins for stepping onto this sacred ground. Be grateful to me, for I'm giving you a chance to atone. Damn it! She has one of our intercoms! Don't let the enemy fool you! You fearless humans. If you can only learn by making mistakes, then I shall teach you.
This is Nightingale 1. Where is everyone? Where did you all go? Come in! Come in!
I see a helpless bird getting lost in a forbidden forest. Do you want to know that badly? Do you want to know about the world of demons? Say goodbye to the world of humans. Curse your foolishness for not listening to my warning.
Ah!
Who was that? Nightingale, roll call!
One more down! Who was it? I swear to... Okay, now that's actually kind of smart. I'll give them that. By the way, HQ, I have someone on my left, right? I'm not alone, am I?
Do you want to hear more painful voices?
Ah! What was that? What made that sound? I've seen someone jump in front of a train before. It made the exact same sound. That's the sound of a human body being crushed. No, I don't want to die like that. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Please, God in the mountain, please stop. I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I get paid for it. Nightingale 1 to base. This isn't working. Too many unit members are dropping out, and it's almost impossible to get them to fight anymore. We can't maintain the battle line. We're just going to lose more men.
Calm down, Nightingale 1.
The rest of our soldiers are all amateurs in the field. You graduated from that hell. So what are you doing, getting shook up? Calm down and set an example. Base, there's no response from Nightingale 1. I can't believe it, but he's down. This is impossible. They're demons. No. Damn it! Our enemy is even using psychological warfare. Those damn punks are winning against a professional unconventional warfare unit. Radios are usually helpful communication tools, but in this case, they backfired. The club members took an intercom from a mountain dog they knocked out, and used it to corner the other members psychologically. Yeah, I can get that much from it. I understand that much. It worked even more effectively because they were in enemy territory and were unfamiliar with the terrain. Yeah. The best solution would be to make everyone stop using the intercom, but that would give the enemy more chances to attack them individually. Okinomiya was growing fearful of the club members, as he still hadn't grasped their true identities. However, Takano still hadn't realized how serious the situation was. She kept yelling at the mountain dogs to get their act together, but honestly, who wouldn't? Like, just being like, they're children! What are you doing? Okinomiya could tell she was exactly the type of commander who only commanded to attack and let her men die. But Takano's reckless orders were working in a way. Although the club members were winning, their area of operation was getting smaller. The club members were trying to lure their enemies to one trap area after another. In other words, they were defeating the mountain dogs by allowing them to come into their territory. The mountain dogs were about to be annihilated, but the curtains were closing on the club members' theater too. Okinomiya realized his enemies were trying to finish this battle in a hurry. If the mountain dogs fell back, everything they'd done would be for nothing. He didn't want to, but he had to follow the princess's order. Okinomiya figured he was finally about to get his enemies. Hanyu and Keiichi continued to act over the commandeered, is that how that's pronounced? I don't know, radio.
Huh? That was great, Hanyu-chan. You sounded like a real god.
You really were awesome, Hanyu. I never thought a normal person could sound like that.
That's because she is a god, Nipa. How. But Keiichi was great too. His scream was incredible, like someone was strangling a chicken. That was easy for Keiichi-san, no? In our club, he is also known as the Magician of Words.
As long as my opponent is a human being with ears, I can control him.
You should become a voice actor. I bet you'd be famous, Nipa.
Can you hear me? I am Takano, Major Takano. I'm your boss's boss. Listen well, there is no god or demon, and if there is, then you can still fight. Drag God down from its pedestal. Skylark and Nightingale, join up and reorganize your forces. Phoenix, you join the remainder of Heron. The enemies are near the top of the mountain. Their base is probably somewhere by the Forestry Service's storage shed. They're at the top, so of course they can see our movements. They'll be trying to ambush you. Even if you have to stab each other, make sure you take them out. Major, let us arm ourselves. We need more than tasers. Absolutely not. We finally surrounded them. If we fall back, they'll escape. We almost have our hands around their necks. We just have to squeeze them. At the same time, Okinomiya received another radio call. Using that line meant his caller didn't want Takano to hear the conversation. Okinomiya understood the meaning of that, so he walked away from Takano and answered quietly. Command vehicle to Phoenix 1. There's been an emergency. The research area of the clinic has been attacked. We received the intruder alarm from the entrance area, but it was turned off. But whoever turned it off didn't follow the false alarm procedure. We've been trying to confirm the situation, but there's been no response as of yet. All the security unit members in the basement have gone quiet. Okinomiya understood everything. He had been fooled. He suspected a diversion, but he never even thought that the heavily armed security unit of the Mountain Dogs could be bested. If the enemies were soldiers in camouflage, then he wouldn't have been fooled. He underestimated them because he thought they were kids. But now he really understood. He understood the reason why no adults had showed up in this battle on the mountain.
I get it. Did you let Cuckoo in Tokyo know?
Not yet. Would you like me to?
Do it now. Tomitake has escaped. We've closed the escape route, but I guess that's no use. They defeated even the armed security unit within seconds. I don't think one RPG can stop them.
Should we send reinforcements to the blockade team?
Fool! If we had any extra men, the princess would have already sent them in. Actually, you're the only one who isn't doing anything. Get in touch with the blockade team. Tell them to be prepared for a vehicle trying to break through the roadblock.
Roger! Roger, we'll be ready. Everyone listen up! I just found out that the clinic has been attacked and the hostage has escaped. The enemy is expected to break through the blockade. Get the RPG ready! We'll fire at them all at once. We have permission to shoot. One of the Mountain Dogs nodded and opened a narrow case in the trunk of the van. In that case was a powerful anti-tank weapon, designated RPG-7. This is a weapon that many said changed the history of modern warfare. After all, this terrifying weapon had a firing range over several hundred meters, and it was capable of burying most tanks in existence. The dawn of this weapon meant that we were now in an age where a lone foot soldier possessed the firepower to destroy a tank. And now we have nukes. How before then we had nukes? What are you talking about? It was capable of reshaping the history of warfare. That was the RPG-7. Each of the other 4 members had an MP5, the weapon used to destroy the tires on Irie's car. There was no question that the blockade team was well armed. They waited in the van until the enemy vehicle showed up. Once they saw a suspicious vehicle, they were planning to stop it by moving into the middle of the road. They intended to destroy that vehicle by firing all at once. They all watched very carefully for suspicious vehicles coming from Hinamizawa. This was the only road that connected Hinamizawa to Okinomiya. It would take more than half a day to get there if they used a different route. Their blockade was where the gravel road changed to a paved road. It was what people called the village border, and was their last chance to stop anyone from leaving. Hinamizawa was at a higher elevation from that point, so the vehicle would be coming downhill. They were probably expecting a barricade, as well as heavy resistance from the Mountain Dogs. If they wanted to pass this point, the only way would be by force. They could start a gunfight, but that would take too much time. Since they didn't want to waste any, they should avoid unnecessary conflict. Grumble. Someone's stomach growled, but nobody made fun of it. That was understandable. Since all the members were getting ready for a battle, nobody even wanted to laugh. They just looked at the clock. It was almost noon. Of course they'd be getting hungry. At that time, they heard a noise coming from the direction of Hinamizawa. Obviously, the car was going very fast. Here they come! The van moved to the middle of the road and stopped there. Did I read that? I did. Okay. It looked like I might have missed a word or two. Some of them hid behind the van, and some hid in bushes on the side of the road. They pointed their guns at the suspicious vehicle coming towards them. The car must have been going very fast, but this was a straight road. No matter how fast it was going, it couldn't escape. That car happened to belong to Kasai. The shining black paint and the sound of the engine made it clear that it was a very nice car. Wait until the last possible second! We can only fire once! Make sure to get them in one shot! The RPG-7 fires unguided rockets. Therefore, hitting a quickly moving target is extremely difficult. In this case, however, their target was straight ahead. If the car tried to swerve suddenly, it'd flip. If that was the case, it wasn't necessary to shoot directly at it. Besides, according to what Kasai said, its power can easily flip a car without a direct hit. Even if there was only one chance to fire, the mountain dogs were definitely in advantageous position. Tomitake-san, a suspicious van is blocking the road. Please stay low! Careful. Try to hit the nose of the van. I know. I've done this before. The mountain dogs aimed at the vehicle. It was coming right for them. Not yet. Not yet! Wait until it's within 100 meters! I know! Just range me! The mountain dogs in the bushes laid in wait, ready to fire. The rocket on the tip glinted eerily, like it was waiting for its prey. 200 meters. 150. Prepare to fire! The soldier put his finger on the trigger of the RPG-7. Whoa! Akasaka-san, prepare for impact! 100 meters. Fire! Huh? What happened? Didn't the RPG-7 fire? That was when the one measuring the distance next to the shooter noticed something. The shooter's shoulder had been hit, and he was tumbling to the ground. Was there a sniper? I didn't hear anything, so it must have been from over 400 meters away! Who cares? Fire, 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 fire! Only the regular guns could stop the car now. The other mountain dogs fired all at once. But immediately, they realized something. The car had been hit by a hail of bullets at close range. Any normal car would have been on fire in short order. But there was nothing! This wasn't a normal car! Of course it isn't. And she's responding to the narration. That's cool. That's the Sonosaki family's specially made bulletproof limousine. Kasai! The spotter picked up the RPG! Don't let him fire! Huh. Do you think I'm going to miss him at this distance? Shion and Kasai were far beyond that straight road. They were in the enemy's blind spot on the other side of the hill, on top of an abandoned car. Shion was on her knees, checking the mountain dog's movements with a pair of military-grade, high-power binoculars. Kasai was lying on top of the car with a sniper rifle in his hands. Shion figured this would be where the mountain dogs would place their ambush, so the only way for them to beat the dogs was to snipe at them. Both Shion and Kasai took sniping lessons in the US during the dam conflict. Kasai was now aiming at the man who picked up the RPG and was trying to take position with it. Hurry up! Fire it! What? Again, the RPG wasn't fired and was down on the ground. The two who tried to shoot were both groaning and clutching at their wounds. They were both shot in the shoulder. The wounds wouldn't kill them, but they definitely couldn't fire that rocket. The car had arrived. The mountain dog screamed and dove out of its way. Akasaka must have been used to driving in this kind of situation. He hit the nose of the van just right, and broke through the blockade. The van was hurled away and spun in a circle. After them! Let's go, let's go! As the mountain dogs tried to get back in the van, Shion and Kasai shot at them. There's a delay between the impact and the sound of the gunshot. It's an extra long-distance snipe! He must be a veteran sniper! Also a veteran spotter! They must know exactly where we are! Their aim is just too precise! The scope on a sniper rifle is one specifically made for sniping. Therefore, its field of vision is so narrow that the sniper is unable to see their surroundings well. That's why it's always necessary to pair up with a spotter. A spotter uses powerful binoculars to probe the situation and communicate information to the sniper. Snipers can't do their job alone. Their potential is unleashed only when paired up with a spotter equally as skilled. They tried to stand up and climb into the van, but the ultra-velocity rifle bullets pinned them down. The bullets ripped through the air, traveling faster than the speed of sound. The noise those bullets created was nothing like the sound from a normal gun. It almost sounded like the Grim Reaper himself swinging down his scythe. Furthermore, they could see the mountain dogs, but the dogs couldn't see them. Only those who actually had experience being sniped at could understand this fear. We can't even go near the van! For Forget about us! Just go! Okay, we'll go after them! There was a driver and one mountain dog in the van. They had to leave, otherwise it would be too late. I swear I can't fucking read today. The driver made a snap judgment and slammed on the gas pedal. Are they after us? Yeah, they're after us. Boy, he drives well. He's catching up in that van. That's worrying. Please, fend them off! Yeah, I'll leave it to you! Tomitake opened a window near one of the back seats and leaned out. Then he got shot in the head and died. Hot air blew into the car. Though the car was jolting up and down on the bumpy road, he checked the mechanism of his gun calmly. He did it naturally, as though examining his favorite camera. The gun had been taken from one of the security guards in the basement. One of the dogs in the van held the same gun in his hands. Their weapons were evenly matched. The road was no longer straight. It curved like a snake. There were some bumps and sharp curves, which made things in the car fly all over. A gunfight in this situation would be extremely difficult. Tomitake realized he'd run empty in no time if he wasted bullets. So instead of firing recklessly, he carefully waited for the right distance. I swear, I'm sorry. And in doing so, tried to convince his enemy they were still out of range to make them close the gap. Okay. I don't know what... I'm stupid. On the other hand, the mountain dog couldn't take it any longer. He fired, wasting his bullets on the bumpy road. Some of those bullets hit the body of Kasai's car, making a nasty metallic noise. My car? Tomitake-san, it's not safe to lean out like that! Don't worry, a shooter that clumsy can't hit me. If he was my student, he would have to start all over. In a situation like this, it's safer to wait and see for a moment. You predict their movements and barrage that prediction with bullets. Don't try to shoot the target. Try to let the bullet find it. Just like this! Tomitake fired for the first time after cautiously waiting for the perfect moment. Those who understood guns would be fascinated with his shooting form. His stance was so firm he didn't lose control, even in the violent burst of shots. Yet there was no unnecessary tension, and just enough slack. Despite being in such an anomalous position as leaning out from a car, Tomitake was shooting very precisely. It was nothing like what the mountain dogs did earlier. He shot at just the right time, so his bullet went where it was supposed to go. It was hard to believe that they were using the same gun. Nasty metallic sounds etched themselves into the body of the van, which made the mountain dogs realize just how good Tomitake was. Shit! He's got a crazy good shot! He isn't just some office worker in Tokyo! I heard it once before. First Lieutenant Tomitake was transferred to the offices after an accident. But during his instructor years, he taught marksmanship for unconventional warfare units. Huh? What are you saying? Are you saying he's... Ah! Tomitake started to aim for the driver's seat to pressure them to give up. The mountain dogs could tell they were in a predicament. Tomitake was capable of hitting his targets easily, even on such a bad road. Furthermore, they were in a bulletproof limousine, while the mountain dogs were in a regular van. The van, which, incidentally, was facing the limousine in pursuit. All his shots had just been warning ones. Unless the mountain dogs called off the chase, Tomitake would start shooting at them soon enough. By the way, where's Irie? They had no chance of winning. Phoenix 1 to pursuit vehicle. Why did I scroll up? If the blockade was broken through, that's enough. Don't go too far. Tomitake is an expert sniper. Don't throw away your lives. What do we do? Can we let them go? Roger. This is the pursuit vehicle. Abandoning pursuit. We're falling back! Looks like they finally gave up. They're slowing down. Ooh. Even after such a gunfight, you're still so calm. I bet you've gone through quite a bit, huh? It's all thanks to my training. Tomitake, having slid back into the car, raised his fist in victory. He was as easygoing as ever, even after a gunfight. Akasaka felt like he was finally getting to know Tomitake for the first time. Okay. First Lieutenant Tomitake! I'm glad you're safe. We were so worried that we couldn't get in touch with you. Tomitake was making a call from a telephone booth outside of Okinomiya. The phone lines around there were on a different network than the one the Mountain Dogs had sabotaged. That was why he can make the call. Hold on, wait. They're fucking blockade into Hinamizawa on the day of Watanagashi. Aren't there people from Okinomiya who go to Watanagashi? Like, Shion's from Okinomiya and she goes. So, like, what the fuck? How does that work? Do they just let cars through if they're coming from the other way? That's the only way that makes sense. Tomitake had called Tokyo immediately. He told Tokyo that there were some spies from the Mountain Dogs within Tokyo's research division, which is how they found out where he was. He also told them that he was captured, but that he had escaped. He told them that they were fooled by the diversion, and that they were on the mountain as they spoke. While he was captured, Major Takano, the ringleader, had hinted at the existence of masterminds she was working for, etc. He explained everything that he had learned thus far. Please take control of the Irie Institute immediately. They've already fired repeatedly, and it will only be a matter of time before the villagers find something out. I urge you to give command for the Bloodhounds to take action. Oka. Okay. I don't know who you are. Hello, this is Oka from the Research Division. I'm glad you're safe. The Bloodhounds are already standing by in the air, approximately 30 kilometers south of Hinamizawa. We've been requesting an order to move in, but the higher-ups are stubborn and don't want any problems, so they've been hesitating. But if you're safe, then that makes things simple. I'll tell them what you told me just now. I'm sure they'll approve the operation immediately. The Bloodhounds will arrive within 20 minutes. Hey, we just got an arrest order from Major Takano and First Lieutenant Tokunogi. We also got orders to secure the Irie Institute as well as to disarm the Mountain Dogs. All thanks to you. Great job! Cool. Tomitake walked out of the telephone box. Is everything settled? Yes. The Bloodhounds are moving in. They're already standing by in the air and should arrive within 20 minutes. How powerful are they? These Bloodhounds, that is. The Mountain Dogs are a multi-purpose unit, largely deployed to preserve secrecy, but the Bloodhounds are elite units specially trained to do battle. Both their skills and their equipment are far superior. Things will be taken care of very quickly. Akasaka looked at his watch. It was about 12:30. The Bloodhounds would arrive in about 20 minutes. Akasaka remembered how hungry he was. It was lunchtime already. If he was brave enough, he would head to a noodle shop, and by the time he was done, everything would have ended. For the Mountain Dogs, who fought well until the last possible moment, it was ending rather too soon. They were in an area where rice fields and a residential area mix. It was the border of Okinomiya. The sun was covered by a thin layer of silver clouds, and a cool breeze was blowing. It looked like it might even rain a little. The two of them couldn't even remember how many times their lives were threatened that day. They wanted nothing more than to let the rain soak their bodies. After a while, Akasaka spoke. So, what do you think, Tomitake-san? What do you mean? I think I'll go back to Hinamizawa. They're still fighting. Yeah, that's true. But are you sure? We're safe here. Rika-chan is waiting for me. I haven't kept my promise yet. Okay, then let's go back. I actually have something to take care of too. And I was thinking of going back anyway. Akasaka-san, have you been on a helicopter before? I have a permit for one. They watched the breeze blowing over the rice fields for a while, then returned to the bullet-ridden car. The car started up quickly, and they drove it back the way they came. It was only noon. There was still plenty of time before the Watanagashi festival began. Clouds covered the sky, and it suddenly grew cool. It was going to rain a bit, according to Okanogi's intuition. He already knew that their enemy had broken through the blockade, but he hadn't told Takano about it. By then, it really didn't make any difference if she knew or not, and he also wanted to reach the top of the mountain. Okanogi was only thinking about one thing. He was thinking about the enemy's commander, who made the day so horrible for him. He just couldn't accept his defeat until he saw the enemy's commander face to face. The battle was already lost. They just had a princess who didn't think they had yet. With the rest of the mountain dogs falling to the traps and ambushes, Okanogi had ordered all units except his own to fall back from the front line and into the vehicles. The only ones left to go were the very determined princess, Okanogi himself, and a handful of exhausted members of the mountain dogs who could barely walk. Eventually, the slope became a little more gentle. Okanogi and his companions finally arrived at the storage shack of Forestry Service. The club members were already aware that the mountain dogs had been almost totally annihilated. Both the numbers and strength of the dogs had fallen far below that of the club members. Therefore, when Okanogi saw his opponents lined up there to welcome them, he wasn't surprised. It was all the kids who'd driven the mountain dogs to destruction that entire day. They had also fought with everything they had. Though they overwhelmed us from start to finish, they had used up all their stamina, and were on their last legs as well. Still, their willpower kept them standing. A will born of the victor's honor, which God granted only to the winners. There she is! It's R! Okanogi, capture her!
Major, how can you even say that to us under these circumstances?
What? Are you disobeying my order?
Oh, no. I have no intention of doing that.
Okanogi removed his communication unit, his taser, and all the heavy equipment he had been carrying. Then he unbuttoned his shirt and told his men to stay put as he stepped forward. He strode forward about half of the distance toward the club members.
I am Okanogi, also known as Phoenix One of the Mountain Dogs. I'm here to pay my respects to your leader. May I have their name?
The club members looked at each other. One of them was a girl taller than the others. She couldn't be that old, but her hawk-like eyes were as sharp as a veteran soldier's. Okanogi didn't know her circumstances, but only those whose lives were threatened on a daily basis had eyes like that. I'm the leader of this club. My name is Mion Sonozaki. The girl stepped forward.
How old are you? No, your age doesn't matter.
Nice way to not reveal character ages, Ryukishi.
From the turmoil at the police station this morning to this battle on the mountain, were you responsible for it all?
The girl didn't answer, but her silence confirmed it more strongly than anything she could have said.
You've won this battle. Our princess is the only one who can't understand that. There's nothing else we can do at this point. Tomitake broke through the blockade. I'm sure he's already called Tokyo. I don't know when the suppression unit will arrive, but it's just a matter of time, I'm sure. If you want to laugh, go right ahead.
Okanogi, what are you doing? That's the enemy commander. Take her down!
Don't pay any attention to her.
What do you want?
You are a leader, and so am I. You understand, don't you?
Is he surrendering?
I can understand. He was in charge of the whole army, and all his men are down. So he can't just nod his head and accept defeat. So the defeated general can only requite himself by sacrificing himself, huh?
Fine. Do what you need to satisfy yourself.
I appreciate it.
Mion took a stance. Okinogi took a stance too. Are they gonna fucking fight? Okay. Although Okinogi was nothing like Akasaka, he was still a close combat specialist. Even when exhausted, there was no way Mion could defeat him. Takano thought so too. She thought Mion was underestimating Okinogi. But Mion knew. She knew that she was the only one who could put him at ease.
Are you ready? Take this!
Huh. Okinogi, readied, launched sharp from his waist, but Mion deflected it to the side with her elbow, wrapped her arm around underneath it, wrenching it back behind him, and forced it up into a hold. And then she twisted his arm even further. Okinogi was certain that she was going to snap a bone. It was an excellent technique. She took his arm in one flowing motion. It was clear that Mion's self-defense techniques weren't spur of the moment. However, she didn't break Okinogi's arm, but instead threw him onto the ground. She didn't deliver the final blow, but rather chose to look down on him.
Not bad.
Okinogi, what are you doing? Hurry up and subdue her!
Shut up! You just shut up and watch! This is a battle between leaders of men!
Okinogi got up quickly, took a stance once again, and then swung his arm down. But Mion avoided it effortlessly. And just like she did before, she grabbed his arm and turned it around. They were in the same position as before. And just like what happened then, she didn't break his arm, but threw him onto the ground and looked down on him.
A rotation throw, huh? The way you move. It's not the Yoshinkan technique, is it? Is it that classy Kobukan one? By the way, when you take your opponent's arm, you can knee him in the face if you want.
I see. I'll try that next time. Oh, wow. Mion is incredible. She's actually standing toe-to-toe with their commander. Okinogi, use your weapons! What do you think you're doing?
Here I come! Ah!
He had a stronger drive this time. He tried to kick right through her from a step and a half away. Yet this time, Mion stepped in to launch her own attack, jumping right towards the foot trying hard to kick her. Mion kept herself low as she entered close range with Okinogi, shutting out his leg trying to kick her. So of course, he went after her head. Okinogi raised his right arm to elbow her in the skull. But this time, Mion rose up, using both hands to keep his arm from swinging down. Unlike the flowing motions from before, this was simply a contest of strength. His physique was overwhelmingly superior to hers, so she couldn't win that test of strength. But suddenly, Mion let go, and allowed Okinogi's elbow to come down. Then she stepped to the side. Haha, it's another repeat of before. Okinogi's arm was held to his back and he ended up in the same position. But what came after was different. Okinogi's face lowered as Mion lifted his arm up high, and then she swiftly brought her knee into his face. It was exactly the technique that Okinogi told her about just earlier. And once again, he was down on the ground.
That's it. You learn quickly, don't you? You know, strategies, tactics, and combat. You already have everything you need to be an effective commander. You should have been in my position. You should have been the one to lead those shitty mountain dogs!
Huh. Sorry, I never wanted to be a leader of the shady unit like yours. Mion scoffed. Okinogi took it with a smile, too. He wasn't trying to be humble. It was just his pure reaction.
You're right. You shouldn't waste your talent on Japanese unconventional warfare units. I bet you could lead the SAS, Delta, Spetsnaz. Whichever you joined, you'd be one of their best. In any case...
SAS? Delta Force? Lame. All of that is just way too boring. Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. Then tell me, what kind of folks do you want to be CO for? I'm not interested in being in charge of any units at all. Being a leader's fine. A leader? The leader of the British Intelligence Service, huh? That's fitting. No way. Listen, there's only one club I want to lead. That's the club in our Hinamizawa branch school. I'm not interested in games without penalties. The Magician of Words, Keiichi Maebara, Seeker of all things adorable and cute, Rena Ryugu, Trapmaster Satoko, and the charming enticer, Rika-chan. And, last but not least, our newcomer, Hanyu Furude. I'll never find anything more fun than playing with them, even if I searched this entire world. No wonder. No wonder we couldn't win. With her as their leader, there was no way we could have won! Okinogi! Get a hold of yourself! Takano yelled at him, but Okinogi didn't hear it. Are we finished with the warm-up? This next one is for real. You're going to die. Be ready for that. Come on. I'll give you a fitting end. Something you've been wanting all this time. Good enough. Here I come! Okinogi took about 5 steps backwards and breathed deep. His body twisted as he gathered all his spirit into his right fist. Just as he said, this next attack would be for real. He was putting everything he had into this one final blow. Mio narrowed her eyes, preparing to parry the blow with her side. The sky began to stir. They both felt raindrops on their foreheads. Yep. Here I go. I'm gonna kill you! I did that line horribly, but whatever. So come get me, okay? Whenever you're done praying, go right ahead. That one tense moment was suddenly brought to an end. Ah! He dashed forward from a low position, just like a runner from a starting line. Then he added the twist from his body into the blow, as his right arm roared with all his power. A bolt of lightning punctuated that moment in time, burning the moment into our eyes. In that moment, Mion's stance hadn't changed at all. No, maybe she moved like lightning in the moment it struck. We had to recall the moment burned into our eyes to review the scene. Okinogi had swung with his right fist, which had enough power to shatter Mion's bones. So what if 100% of his power was directed back at him in a counterattack? When the lightning struck, Okinogi's body had been flying through the air. It was a legendary technique in Japanese martial arts, passed down in judo and aikido, the air throw. It looks as if one is being thrown without his opponent even touching him, a miraculous technique that occurs at lightning speed. Of all the techniques Mion possessed, it was the most sublime, advanced technique she could administer on the defeated General Okinogi. The feeling of freedom while flying in the air is more memorable than the impact of hitting the ground, supposedly. When Okinogi hit the ground behind Mion, a heavy rain suddenly began to fall. And just as it did, a massive helicopter appeared from the other side of the mountain. The helicopter's rotors stirred up in the air and blew away the raindrops like in a tornado. The rotor sounded much like a tornado, too. A rope uncoiled from the rear of the helicopter, and soldiers came sliding down it, one after another. The onlookers were stunned for a moment before realizing what they were seeing. It was the Bloodhounds. The Bloodhounds that Tomitake had called in. Having realized how bad the situation had become, Okinogi returned to the other members of the Mountain Dogs. Nothing was going their way anymore. The Mountain Dogs ran down the slope and disappeared into the woods. They dragged Takano with them, who couldn't understand what was going on. A voice echoed from a speaker attached to another helicopter circling around the mountain.
To all staff of the Irie Institute, today at 12:30 p.m., the Institute's independent authority was frozen and is now under the control of the Bloodhounds. As of the same moment, HQ has ordered complete disarmament of all Irie Institute staff. All mountain dogs are to disarm themselves immediately and gather at the parking lot of the Irie Clinic or at the storage shack at the top of the mountain. Failure to respond accordingly will result in discipline under not only civilian law, but under self-defense force rules as well.
Bloodhound members continued to slide down the rope from the helicopter. Even at a glance, they were very different from the mountain dogs. They were armed more heavily, and the guns they had were much larger. Such things clearly differentiated the two units.
Does this mean that we have won?
I don't know. I've never seen this before, so I don't know if we really did.
Satsuko and Rika sat down and hugged each other. They were both soaked in rain, but they still sat down in the mud. Mion stood solemnly in the rain as the leader of the winning team. The mountain dogs had abandoned the field. They all ran away with their tails between their legs. Keiichi and Rena ran over to Mion. Mion,
Mii-chan,
it's over. Yeah, our club activity is over.
Rika-chan is safe. Everyone else is safe. Mii-chan, it's our victory.
You led us this far, Mion. It's all thanks to you. But Mion didn't seem to be listening to Keiichi and Rena. Instead, she mumbled to herself. I like punishments.
Eh?
Club activities can be cruel, huh? We fight to decide who's the loser. So that means everyone looks down on whoever does lose, right? We don't look down on anyone. We just do the punishment, and that's it. Yeah. We do the punishment, and that's it. We all enjoy laughing at the loser, and then forget about it. That's why I like what we do. We all laugh, including the one who came in last.
Nobody gets hurt. We all laugh, and then we're done with it.
That Okinogi guy thought he couldn't purify his sins unless he was defeated by me. I mean, sure, it got pretty serious. We were almost killed too. But it's all over, right? The game is over. And even though it is, there is no punishment for the mountain dogs. Mion might have realized something when she threw Okinogi. Keiichi didn't think anybody else could understand that. I don't know what you're trying to say, Mion. Forget about him. It's all over for them anyway. Yeah, you're right. Everything is all over now.
We're all alive. Nobody got seriously hurt. So, let's enjoy our happy ending.
That's right. Nobody got hurt. It really is a happy ending. While they hadn't yet confirmed Shion and Kasai's safety, they were correct. This was the happy ending that they had all been fighting for. However, Mion was still thinking. She only understood the reason for that in the moment the thunder struck. But as soon as the flash of the lightning disappeared, her understanding vanished as well. All she could remember was that she noticed something very important and that shortly after, she completely forgot about it. She could only feel a great sense of loss. The Bloodhounds soon surrounded the club members. At first, they thought the club members were their enemies, but when Tomitake appeared, he explained the whole situation. The commander of the Bloodhounds appeared to beg the club members not to say a word about anything, as it was a politically sensitive incident. It was amusing to see a man like that beg while carrying all those weapons. Of course, they had no intention of talking to anyone about it. Once it had ended, it all felt like a bad dream. If, on the following day, someone asked them what they had been doing, They might not even remember it. This day was that unrealistic for them. So even if they were asked, they wouldn't say a word. Rika-chan! I'm glad you're safe.
Akasaka! I'm glad you're safe too. Meet.
It all worked out great, too. Are you all alright? The clinic has been occupied by the Bloodhounds. The mountain dogs are all surrendering, too. Dr. Irie and a boy he was hiding with have been put under the Bloodhounds' protection as well. Ah, that's where he was. He was hiding somewhere with Satoshi.
Coach is safe too, is he? I'm very glad about that. Wait. A boy? I do wonder who that could be. Perhaps Tomita-san or Okamura-san were injured. Satoko, I'm very happy for you.
Rika's smile made it clear on what she had gone through. Someone could only smile like that after a long and exhausting struggle. Satoko had no idea what that smile meant. How much time would be needed to make her understand? Still, Irie will do something about it. For certain, he will bring Satoko's Nini back home.
That's right, Satoko. You haven't taken your shot today, have you? You can't forget about that. Ah, quite true. How troublesome that I can't forget about the shot, even in this situation.
Satoko seemed to have no idea that her medication was connected to the syndrome. Perhaps she was already aware, but pretended not to be. Rika vowed to herself that no matter how long it took, she was going to witness with her own eyes the moment her best friend finally parted with her tragic past. Sorry.
At least I only need to take this shot twice a day. It was 3 times for the previous one.
Satoko also had no idea that Satoshi was involved in the development of her medication. Irie had said that Satoshi, as a specimen, had contributed much to Satoko's treatment. Even while asleep, Satoshi longed to ease the burden on Satoko. And those feelings must have influenced Satoko's medicine somehow, yeah, sure. Satoko had to inject herself in the stomach. For privacy, she ran into the grove of trees to give herself a shot. There was no danger in her doing so. One after another, the Bloodhounds dropped down from the helicopters. Each helicopter must have carried at least 20 to 30 shoulders. Yeah. Pairs, I guess. 20 to 30 soldiers. There was one helicopter at the top of the mountain, and 2 more halfway down the slope. Troops were pouring down from all of them, leading to the impression that the entire mountain was under the Bloodhounds' control. Nobody fired their weapons even once. The mountain dogs had no choice but to surrender. It wasn't raining hard at all. The sky should clear up after 20 or 30 minutes. It was the volatile weather typical of early summer. Satoko soon returned and spoke to her best friend.
Rika, I haven't seen Hanyu-san around. She was here a moment ago. Huh? Hanyu? Hanyu? Where are you?
No, boy. It was stupid of me to think that Tokyo had sent more support. They're acting as if they've known of their loss for a while now. I was the only one who didn't know. What's going on? Tell me this minute, Okinogi!
This is it. They're the Bloodhounds. Tomitake called them in.
The Bloodhounds? I've heard the name before, but aren't they similar to the mountain dogs? Why aren't you fighting back?
You've gotta be kidding me. We mountain dogs are simply a counterintelligence unit. On the other hand, the Bloodhounds are a real combat battalion. There's no way we can defeat them.
The remaining 3 members looked at me in exhaustion. Why are they here in the first place? We captured Tomitake. Are there more spies? Who are they? Major, the clinic was attacked earlier. Haven't you heard that First Lieutenant Tomitake escaped? One of the 3 spoke up timidly, but Okinogi signaled him to shut up. Nobody told me this! When did that happen? What's going on, Okinogi? Wasn't there a blockade exactly so that they couldn't escape the village? They aren't even responding to me anymore. I've been left behind. I'm the only one who didn't know. I'm being left out. The members looked at Okinogi, waiting for his command. Nobody is waiting for my order. Nobody even cares about my orders. Commander, there's a radio call from the command vehicle. One of the members handed the intercom to Okinogi.
This is Phoenix 1.
Commander, final orders from Cuckoo. Execute Cuckoo.
Cuckoo. Roger that.
The Bloodhounds have us surrounded. We're being advised to surrender. What should we do?
Command vehicle. No. Ota and Adachi, good work. You're cleared to surrender. Disarm yourselves and follow the orders of the Bloodhounds.
Roger that, Commander.
All units, listen up. The command vehicle has been compromised. The clinic is probably in the enemy's hands as well. We've lost all our backup as well as equipment. All teams have been wiped out. I'm sure everyone is disarming themselves. The mountain dogs have been completely defeated.
Not yet. Get in touch with Nomura-san in Tokyo. The Bloodhounds? So what? She'll send in units who can beat them immediately. R is still alive. We can activate the final operation. I must let Nomura-san know that. We have to restore communications with Tokyo. We really shouldn't have cut the telephone connections. But we did, so we'll have to recover the command vehicle. We'll get in touch with Tokyo on the radio. Fortunately, the men in the command vehicle surrendered without resistance, so I'm sure the Bloodhound's guard is down. Okinogi, you and the other 3 will be enough. It's still the 19th of June. The operation starts on the 21st? Or is it supposed to be the 22nd? We still have time. We'll manage, Okinogi. Go recover the command vehicle immediately. Why can't you follow my orders? I'm a major. I'm your superior. Why are you listening to Okinogi but not me?
Major, didn't you hear what the helicopter said earlier? We've lost. There is absolutely nothing we can do anymore.
What are you saying, Okinogi? Are you already giving up? You saw that R is alive, didn't you? What happened today was all because of the rumor that R was dead. But she's alive! That means today didn't happen! We can still use the emergency manual. As long as the Queen Carrier is alive, all we have to do is kill her. Then we'll have 48 hours to execute the manual.
Major, it's far beyond that point already. Tokyo doesn't care about the Queen Carrier or the 48 hours after death. Our final operation is a complete failure. Our clients must be running around desperately trying to destroy evidence. Our job here is done. I commanded the Mountain Dogs for about 10 years. It was a valuable experience. But it's all over today. And Major, your job is over too.
What? What do you mean my job is over? What are you talking about?
Major, your job was to rear that scrapbook in your hands.
What are you talking about? I didn't expect Okinogi to start talking about my grandfather's scrapbook.
I don't doubt that there's a disease called Hinamizawa syndrome. But the whole village going into panic 48 hours after the queen dies? No one's ever seen that happen. No one knows if that's true or not.
Don't be ridiculous. Look here, it's somewhere in here. Where? I know it's in here. From the I can't speak at all. Oh yeah. From the studies of other similar parasites and brains that the statistics say, damn it, where is it? Oh. Sorry for the cut, I had to eat dinner. Let's continue. I flipped through the pages of the scrapbook in a panic. I can't even remember which page I'm looking for. Okinogi slapped the scrapbook aside, and it thudded. No, it landed in a muddy puddle, so it splashed onto the ground. The open pages of the scrapbook were face down in the muddy water, and already turning color as they soaked up the mud. What are you doing? This is the most important. As I crouched down to pick up the scrapbook, Okinogi stepped on it. The splash of muddy water hit me in the face. I had to witness my precious scrapbook being stepped on and covered in filth.
Major, I don't really care if what's in the scrapbook is true or false. As a matter of fact, nobody does.
What do you mean by that? I tried to get the scrapbook from under Okinogi's foot, but I couldn't pull it out.
The clients in Tokyo merely wanted to see how many people would actually believe what's in the scrapbook. They didn't even care if it was the truth or lies, as long as it was believable.
They didn't care?
No, they didn't. They just wanted some famous doctors to research the subject, and came up with a report full of difficult terminology so they could deceive people. That was your job.
No, this isn't a lie. My grandfather and I researched it for so many years. Come on, move your foot. The scrapbook is getting soaked through. I'm trying my best so that it's not ruined, but it's no use.
The queen dies and the village must be killed. All you had to do was convince the higher-ups of that crazy story. Nobody cared about parasites to begin with. They only cared if it could be used for political gain. You knew that, didn't you? And at this point, nobody will ever pay attention to any of that nonsense again. A lot of people bet on this scrapbook, and they lost. The mountain dogs lost too. That's all there is to it.
This isn't nonsense! This scrapbook holds the truth! Everything in it is the truth! My grandpa researched it, I researched it, and this is the result! Everyone believed in it! That's why they built such a beautiful research center, isn't it? They believed in it, and that was why Nomura-san got in touch with me! There must be other people who will believe in my work! Because all of this is for the future of humankind! Okinogi got fed up and kicked me. I don't weigh much, so I fell backwards and became soaked in the muddy water. Okinogi walked over and looked down at me.
Fortunately, there's still something the clients in Tokyo are expecting from you. Hey.
One of the mountain dogs handed a gun to Okinogi. Okinogi checked the cylinder and then threw it over to me. What is this?
Major? Why don't you use that to shoot yourself in the head?
What? I looked at the gun. I'm used to seeing guns working at the Irie Institute as I do. I was never frightened by guns before, but for the first time I feel scared just looking at one.
You know, this happens all the time, Major. Please take responsibility as the leader of the defeated force and shoot yourself.
What are you saying? Nobody has ever told me to die before. Nobody has ever told me to kill myself. What living in the 80s does to someone.
If you die, the clients can just blame you for everything. Actually, Tokyo is already preparing to do that.
Don't be ridiculous! Why should I have to do that? Oh. I'm starting to sob. My body is shaking all over.
Well, you don't have to do it yourself if you don't want to. Maybe that's too much to ask of you right now.
Okinogi pulled his gun out and pointed it at me. The other members, having realized everything will work out if I die, just looked at me coldly.
I'm going to say that I tried to talk you into surrendering, but you refused. We shot at each other, and I had to kill you. That's the scenario. I gave you the gun so that you could kill yourself, rather than being killed by me. It's to show my appreciation for the time we've known each other.
I don't want it to end like that! No. Who came up with this plan in the first place? I don't want this.
It was your dearest friend, Nomura-san from Tokyo. They had a plan for damage control in case the final operation failed. Nomura-san's codename is Cuckoo, and yours is Baby Bird, isn't it? Do you know where cuckoos lay their eggs?
What?
Cuckoos lay their eggs in other birds' nests. Once they hatch, they kill the young of the original owner by pushing them out of the nest, and then take it over. The baby birds on the ground are left helpless, and they usually end up eaten by mountain dogs.
I used the money I got from Uncle Koizumi to pay the mountain dogs, thinking I had gained a reliable ally. I always thought that, although Okinogi was barbaric, he was very reliable. But my nest had been taken over.
Major, you never had any allies to begin with. All you had to do was exactly what the clients in Tokyo wanted you to. But now it's over. Now, you need to exit the stage. Take it. It's your precious scrapbook. Hold that in your left hand and pick up the gun with your right.
The scrapbook was finally returned to me, covered in mud. I held it with both hands and cried. No. I'm not doing crying, sorry. Nope. What a joke the entire life of Mio Takano was. Right now is when I should just go back inside that chain link fence. My shaking hands held the ice-cold gun.
There's only one bullet in there. Sometimes a bullet can ricochet on the scalp, so that's why people usually put the muzzle in their mouths. Come on, hold the gun, point it like this, and die. And then,
in the hills of the mountain, a single gunshot echoed. With that gunshot, members of the Bloodhounds rushed in. Okinogi and the other men raised their hands in surrender.
Major Takano was with us, but she refused to surrender. She tried shooting at us, so I had to fire a shot to intimidate her.
Retriever 7 to leader. We arrested First Lieutenant Okinogi and 3 other members of the Mountain Dogs. Major Takano was on the run.
Yep.
Her footprints are heading southwest, but the brush is too thick and we can't go any further. Requesting backup. Major Takano is armed. I repeat, Major Takano is armed. Retriever leader to all units. Major Takano is on the run. She's armed, so be cautious. Patrol the area and force her out.
I'm running through the mountain, covered in dirt, and still holding the muddy scrapbook. I keep falling because of the mud, and branches and tree roots continue to torment me. I lost one of my shoes, so I decided to get rid of the other shoe too. Didn't Keiichi do that at one point? I think he did. Why do I remember that though? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was something else. This isn't the first time I've had to run like this. Oh no, wait, she did that. Yeah, I'm stupid, it was her. This isn't the first time I've ran barefoot. This isn't the first time I felt so much pain on the soles of my feet. This isn't the first time I've cried like this. Oh.
I repeat, Major Takano, disarm yourself and surrender. You can't escape. The Mountain Dogs have surrendered. You have no more allies.
The helicopter above my head is calling out my name. I crawled into a hollow tree. I held my knees and hid. The last time I ran barefoot like this was a very long time ago. My feet are bloody and swollen, and I can no longer walk. I can only cry as I bite the corner of my scrapbook. Sadness and humiliation fight for dominance in my heart. When I feel sad, I cry. And when I feel humiliated, I scratch myself to calm my anger. And I still have the gun in my right hand. The one with a single bullet in it. Oh, so Okinogi shot it. Okay. I have to kill myself. My death is the only thing that can bring it all to an end. Killing myself is the only way to go back to that day. But when I look at the scrapbook in my left hand, I'm assaulted by sadness and fear. I don't want to die. Oh, I don't want to die. Just die. Atone for your action. I can't speak. Atone for your actions with your death. I recalled the look in Okinogi's eyes. I know. I know I have committed sins. There are so many sins, too many of them. There are more sins than I can possibly atone for. But do I have to die for them? No, I don't want to die. Meanwhile, do I continue? Because I feel like there could still be time. That felt like a decent transition, I'll admit. Plus I still have to go back through the chapter for that one thingy, right? Yeah, I think we'll end here. This is already a pretty long episode, so... Yeah! Yeah. Next episode will very, very, very likely be the finale, so look forward to that. Again, Happy New Year. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!